and welcome to my channel. It's very gloomy out today, very rainy. So when it's rainy, it's really hard for me to kind of get motivated and do things that are very productive, but I've been very productive so far. I talked on my last video how important routine was, and it's so true. And you can't just snap your fingers and then do things over and over again. Depression, sometimes I couldn't even shower or feed myself or brush my hair. I was just so tired all the time. So give yourself a lot of time and patience, but definitely do one thing per day that is productive. So far, I worked. I'm about to go to the gym after this. That's why I look kind of cute and not like a mess. Forgive me for not wearing a bra. And let's get into it. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about my manic episode. I've talked about it before, but not too much into detail. So I apologize in advance if I can't verbally express myself. I'm still working on that. Reading helps. So I've been reading. My comprehension isn't the best. I'm a little dyslexic, so I will verbalize my manic episode being bipolar as best as I can. All right, so I was living in Illinois. I was in my late 20s at the time, and it was right after I got out of rehab. I put myself into rehab because it was to the point where I was waking up and I couldn't function without drinking. I was very depressed. I was going through a breakup and I just wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't, you know, having my routine every day. I used to go to the gym every day because I used to compete. That was very, very important for me, both physically and mentally. Emotionally, it was something great that I used to do. I was very passionate about it. I would say somewhat addicted, but I'm a person that loves food. I never took it to an unhealthy level. I would never starve myself. I would never overwork out. I think I hold muscle quite well, so I never looked emaciated on stage. I did lose a lot of weight. I had no breasts, but overall, competing for me was so great in terms of something conducive to handle my stress. So that's the thing. When drinking took over and I wasn't going to the gym every day and just kind of being my introverted self, I just started having a lot of issues, let's say expressing myself when I got out of rehab. So I couldn't drink, and not only do I have problems expressing myself and understanding why, as an adult, it's hard for me to express and verbalize how I'm feeling. And during a stressful situation, I might overreact, if you will, and people might say I'm too sensitive. But, in the heat of the moment, it's like the world's going to end. Being bipolar, I've said this before, it's like turning on a computer every day. Your brain is activated to just turn on and feel the same and kind of go through those emotions over and over again. So you have to break that cycle. And definitely rewiring your brain is something you could do. I mean, you could rewire your brain playing video games for 8,000 hours. You could rewire your brain listening to music, journaling, doing a lot of different things to just kind of help stimulate your brain. But I'm getting off track. So, okay, I got out of rehab, didn't really learn in rehab how to function as an adult under stressors, just kind of learned how to not drink. And when the desire to drink came about, kind of what to do so I could avoid drinking because that's the worst possible thing. So during my intake at rehab, I met this girl. I've talked about her a lot, and her name was Cassidy. And Cassidy was my roommate at rehab, and she's the reason I stayed there. She was kind of my inspiration for getting sober and was just such a pure, beautiful soul. I found out that she passed away a couple months after rehab, and that's kind of when I had a manic breakdown. I didn't drink for months prior to that. I was sober, and because that triggered me so much, and she was such a huge part of my sobriety and a huge part of my life going to rehab, I think that kind of just, you know, fucked my brain up to a point of where I couldn't really grieve. I couldn't really process what was going on. I didn't learn those things in rehab. So it just kind of clicked. And, I would tell people in Illinois, oh, I feel like I'm possessed, because that's how it felt being manic. It felt like I was outside of my body looking in at someone else and going, who the fuck is this? I literally didn't give a shit about anything. I literally wasn't living on the same reality. When I look back and think of it now, I'm like, wow, I'm so embarrassed by my behavior. I'm so embarrassed of the way I acted. But at that time, in that very specific moment, I did not know any better. When I say I wasn't living on the same reality, I'm talking about I wasn't living on the same planet. I was acting, I don't want to say crazy because that's a very bad stigma for mental health, but I was acting very irrational, if you will, irrational times 10. So at that time, I didn't understand what bipolar was. I didn't know I was bipolar. I didn't know what the fuck mania was. And I was manic for months. For months. I had such self sabotaging behavior and such risky behavior that it is a miracle I'm alive today. I definitely have some guardian angels and some spirit guides watching out for me. I go into this in way more detail, but I mean, mania, to my recollection, was an outer body experience lasting for months, being unable to cope with real reality. So having this fictitious reality almost, and thinking, I mean, I thought I was a genius. I was kind of delusional, and I was trying to open a business at that point when I was living in Illinois that was THC and CBD, and it was illegal at that point. THC was illegal in Illinois. Now, for medicinal purposes, it is legal, thank God. But back then it wasn't legal. So I got a lot of judgment from the neighborhood, being called the drug house. But my vision was to help people with mental health and with physical health with medical marijuana and CBD instead of, pills that are really, really addictive. But because I was so manic, I was going about it in such a destructive and dangerous way. I'm very glad that I don't live in Illinois anymore. It was a great learning experience, but being manic, I was in and out of the psych wards every month. And then I would be released from the psych ward. Unbeknownst to me, I don't know what's going on with me. I just keep getting told I'm bipolar. That means nothing to me. So it's, if you can imagine, just a self-destructive circle. And that's why I preach so much about having self-awareness, because if you are self-aware, it's just such a beautiful thing. You're aware of your surroundings. You are self-aware, you're aware of your surroundings, you are in your right mind, therefore you can function in reality. Take a deep breath, wait a second, and then respond. Like I always say, it's kind of engraved in my brain. You really can't control other people. You can't control situations. There are things that are going to be out of your control in life. What you have to do is control how you react. That is something I struggle with being bipolar, because I feel like everything is intensified for me. My emotions are very much intensified, but just time has really helped. Meditation has really helped. Prayer has helped. Educating myself on bipolar has helped. And I can't stress enough, just time, being kind to myself, time and being kind to myself. Very important. Like they say, time heals everything, and it's true. And you need a good support system, and you need to just believe in yourself. I mean, miracles occur every single day, and it is a miracle that I'm here. And because of my self awareness and because of educating myself on bipolar, I have not had a manic episode since Illinois, because I'm self aware of how I feel and my behavior. And I have conducive things and I have tools that I can use to just calm me down, so I stay on reality. So I stay in this reality. So I stay grounded. So anyone that suffers from bipolar, anyone that suffers from bipolar, if you feel like you're having a manic episode coming on, I've heard people say, I love manic episodes. That's where I get so creative. That's where I have energy. Listen, I love it too, but I also love not being in the psych ward. I also love my neighbors not thinking I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I love feeling self aware and I love feeling in control of myself. So if you feel like you're getting manic, what I can tell you to do is breathing exercises, meditation, sleep, 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 hydrate. That is so important. Eat healthy and exercise. Literally, I cannot stress this enough. Be patient to yourself. Give yourself a lot of time. It's going to happen. I never thought I would say right now, like, I have a schedule. I have to do things and I make sure I do things because if I don't, my mental health will decline. If I'm too tired some days, I rest. If I'm feeling good other days, you know, it, the more I do, the better I feel. An active body in motion keeps an active mind in motion. And then at the end of the day, you can relax because you're not in your head thinking, coulda, shoulda, woulda. So that's a little bit about my manic episode. I hope that helped. I wish I can go into more detail, but I don't want this to be super long. All I can tell you is I've been at rock bottom. Don't know how in the hell I'm here, but I'm here. I'm self aware, I'm sober, I'm mentally ill, and life's pretty fucking good. So I hope y'all have a great week. Until my next video, keep healthy, keep horny, keep sane, and keep smiling.